Well, hello. Today is Monday, December the 7th, 2020. This is Angela Hooper Minifield, and this is your HR Moment with Minifield and Associates. And so hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I know for many of us, depending on where in the country we live, things are getting more and more concerning regarding COVID. And so I just want to encourage you to be careful and to take care of yourselves. So today's HR moment, for those of you who may be new to who I am and what I do, well, I'm the Chief Equipping Officer of Minifield and Associates LLC, but I'm also the creator of the BEST, and BEST is an acronym or acrostic for Building and Equipping Supervisors and Team, Supervisory Academy and Symposium. And so what we do is we help supervisors up-level their growth and really transition. So many of us are promoted because of technical expertise and or time in service, and we think we're ready. But when you've never supervised, what you find out is, I may need some help in this area. So we try to use our HR moments to help people learn to better, navigate this terrain that is supervision and maybe avoid some critical mistakes. And so today's topic is actually one that is based on a personal experience. Again, people message me, we talk, I coach a lot of supervisors, but I want to talk about setting clear expectations. And again, I know we talked about this before, but there's always another opportunity to up-level this. And so when we talk about expectations, what exactly do I mean when I say setting clear expectations? Well, as the supervisor or the person who has the responsibility to sometimes create expectations, we have to be honest with the fact that we don't always do that well. And so what do I mean by that? Well, recently, so most of you know I'm an independent contractor, business owner, so I don't work a quote unquote job. I service many clients. So yesterday, I actually had a request, and it was from a very important client, one I thoroughly enjoy working with. So again, you can begin to think about it like, right, you may be the supervisor who would represent this client. And they sent me an email on Sunday morning at about 11. And the email outlined some expectations of things that I would have delivered or do. And one of the expectations was by 6 p.m. Sunday evening. Now, of course, number one, I wasn't even on my email at yesterday morning to see the original. And then I didn't, usually on Sunday nights as I prepare for the week, what I'll do is I'll check my email because I don't like to be blindsided of what Monday holds for me. So about 8:30, 8:45 Sunday night, I'm checking emails and I see this email and I just start laughing. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, how am I having deliverables that are due today or already past due? And we haven't discussed this. And so I smiled, and again, love my client, love working with the organization. But I just responded. I said, well, first, let me thank you for an opportunity to get some clarity on what the expectations are. But I just have to tell you that this is unrealistic, right? Like, I haven't even read this email in order to deliver it. And I just wasn't going to stop what I was doing and to get a response in by, 9 o'clock. But what I said was, but what I can do for you is have something in your inbox by BOB, right? So if I need to get up a little earlier or start my day a little earlier than my first appointment, then I can do that. And then I can send it to you. Now, I could have done the work and again, got it there that evening, but I also thought it was important to set some boundaries or some expectations, because when we acquiesce or even though we tell people in the future, don't do X and Y, but we do it anyway, we're training them how to treat us. And so I thought it was important that I set a clear expectation and said beginning of business. And so I had the email, they had it in their mailbox by 5:45, 6-ish this morning. But had I done it last night, even though I said all the other things, there was a concern that maybe this would be a pattern. Because again, I believe we train people how to treat us as supervisors. So again, we are training our employees how to respond. We're also, they're training us and how they respond to us, how to treat us. So as a supervisor, here's some guidance or advice I want to give you. Do not, just because you're in a hurry and you have a fire or an emergency, especially if it's something that was preventable, begin to put unrealistic expectations on your team. One, they're going to resent it. And two, you're setting them up for failure. You know, one of my favorite sayings, and many of you have heard me say it before, set your team up for a win, right? Set it up so people get an easy win. Like give them a lob, a layup, right? Yes, my sports analogy. But there's a way that we can do this. And when we say at 4:30, end of day, that the project is due first thing in the morning, did we really set them up for a win? Because what we said subvertly was that, yeah, I know you're getting off work right now, but I still expect you to interrupt your evening, change your plan, stay up late tonight, get up early in the morning, whatever the case may be, and do the thing that I could have asked you to do earlier. So that's not fair. And that's not right. You know, one of my millennial clients, and, you know, I talk about my millennials often. I love my millennials. You know, they shared with me their HR manager sent them a note and said, you know, how did this happen? And what's the background on this issue? And they were all worked up and it's like 6:30 at night. And they're like, well, I got to respond to this email. I said, no, you don't. I said, draft your response if your mind is fresh. But when you immediately respond, they're not going to deal with it until the morning anyway. You're creating this pattern that you're going to drop everything you're doing. And if an email pops up at 7 o'clock at night, you're going to leave the dinner table and go answer it. These are unrealistic expectations. And so as supervisors, you know, oftentimes we're salaried. And so we tend to work after hours. But just be cognizant of if we're creating a pattern that is suggesting our hourly employees are to respond to us off hours. Because if that's the case, basically we're acknowledging the awareness that they're working overtime, right? If they're hourly employees and now we're sending them emails with the expectation that they respond in the evening, we are knowingly having them work overtime and they should be paid for that. Now, overtime in most organizations should be approved ahead of time, which means if they didn't get approval and then they ask for it, we would be upset. And then if they work it and we don't pay them, sometimes they're upset. So let's not create this dynamic. One of the things you guys may not know, here's a tip. Most email platforms, Outlook, Google, Gmail, will allow you to schedule messages. So maybe it's on your mind right now and you want to get it out to the team because you need them to respond and you need them to work on it first thing in the morning. Instead of creating the sense of urgency and populating their emails at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, just send the email and schedule it to go in the morning. See how easy that is? Now you've taken care of it. You've gotten it off of your desk as the supervisor, but you haven't created this dynamic with implied delivery and response in off hours. Because again, by law, when our hourly employees work at night, and again, replying to emails is working at night, we have now arrived at the awareness that they're working overtime. And if to be challenged on that, some of us would be very upset at the outcome because we may find that we owe people back pay. So I'm trying to help you not only create clear expectations, but be clear on how you interact with your team after hours. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in another HR moment because I actually have an appointment to go to. But hopefully this talk has again reminded you that clear expectations are essential. So before I go, I just want to remind you guys that our 30-day new supervisor's 30-day journal, we got the updated version. So it's a little bigger, a little thicker, nicely wrapped. Shipping out copies today, but you can always go to Amazon and Google my name, Angela Hooper Minifield, and purchase your journal. Or you can just look up the new supervisor's 30-day journal. Thank you guys for the support, but these tools and resources are here to help you grow as a supervisor and a leader within your organization. Or if you're looking to elevate to supervision, again, grab your copy, get gifts. And if you go to our website at thesupervisoracademy.com, you can also buy them in bulk, discount from us directly versus from Amazon. All right, guys, have a great Monday, and we will see you on Wednesday. Take care.